Welcome back to another session here of Coach Steele's Finance Training. Happy to have everybody tuning in here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. We are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we are live on TikTok. Happy to have everybody tuning in once again. Looking forward to having an awesome conversation here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. You already know here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we talk about all things financial literacy. That is that conversation piece that we have. And I'm excited for everybody that's going to jump in here. We have a great topic on today, a much needed topic for such a time as this. And so I'm excited about what we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen. If you saw the event, you already know what the topic is on today. And we are talking about your job, your 9 to 5 versus inflation. So as y'all come on in the room, make sure you meet me, make sure you greet me, tell me good morning. I'm interested to see where you are listening in from here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, as I do this live every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. I want you all tuning in. If you have questions or comments or concerns, feel free to reach out and ask your questions. That's what this platform is here for. So let's go a little bit deeper on today as we have this conversation. Those that are on Facebook tuning in, make sure, let me know if you can hear me or not, loud or clear. I want to make sure that I am connected with everyone before we get started on what we're doing on today. So let's see here. My Facebook family or my YouTube family, make sure you tell me a good morning or let me know that you can hear me. That way we are communicating effectively. All right, so we're talking about your job, your 9 to 5 versus inflation. Let's see here. I'm waiting on someone to send that confirmation message through. I want to make sure y'all can hear me and we're not having any technical issues. If you're tuning in, let me know if you can hear me on Facebook. All right. So I see Mr. Tim Scott there. I am being heard loud and clear. All right. So let's start this thing at the top. When we talk about your job versus inflation, basically we're talking about what do you make. We got Tim Scott tuning in from South Kakalaki, South Carolina. What do you make versus what's happening with inflation in this economy? And it is a sight to behold. It is a sight to see as we talk about what's going on with inflation. And of course, if you've been tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, I've been talking about inflation. I've been talking about the market and things to pay attention to, things that will be happening in the marketplace, whether it's crypto, whether it's oil companies, different places that you can invest to make money while all of this craziness is happening. And so when we look at this, your job versus inflation, I want you all to remember one theme for today. I want you to remember this. If you don't remember anything else, because I believe this theme will cause you to take action. Are y'all ready? Here it is. Your income, if your income isn't growing, if you aren't making more money, then inflation is winning. Pay attention to that very closely. If your income isn't growing, if you aren't making more, then inflation is winning, because inflation is a constant moving. You know, when some people say it's not fair because you're moving the goalposts, in other words, like when you're kicking a field goal in football, you know, the goalpost is stationary. But if someone keeps moving it back further, then I got to kick even harder. And I have to keep kicking even harder to the point to where I just can't kick that far. It's not fair because the goalpost is being moved, but I'm still stuck in the same place. That is your income. If your income isn't growing, if it isn't moving, if it isn't elevating, then inflation is winning, because inflation constantly moves the goalpost to make it harder for your dollars to go further. You know, what you pay or what you spend. I got a message from someone. I don't know. Can y'all still hear me on Facebook? Let me make sure. I got a message to my phone. Can you hear me? Someone asked me if I was still going live at 9. I am live, and it is 9. So hopefully we rectify that situation real quick right there. Now, let's go a little bit further. Oops, knock that over. Pardon the interruption, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Okay, I see a couple people coming in on Facebook, but I got one person messaging me saying it's not coming up on Facebook, so I'm not sure. It may be on their end. My Facebook crew, can you hear me loud and clear? Let's see here. Or either there may be a delay. And as you're tuning in, make sure you share the live for other people to be able to hear. Okay, Tony Sherman says he can hear me loud and clear. So we're good. So it may be, it was that person on their end. Okay, they just sent me the message. All right. So where was I? If your income isn't growing, then your inflation is winning. And I want you all to understand that. It's like moving the goalposts. Inflation is always going to make you have to kick further and kick further. And so if you got to kick further in life, if you got to make your money stretch further, then guess what? Your leg needs to get stronger. Ha, that's what you need to do. Your legs need to get stronger, and that's your finances, that's your money, right? So let's go a little bit further here. Make sure you all share the live for other people to tune in here on Coach Steele's Finance Training. I appreciate all of you that are consistent with sharing that live because you don't have to, you choose to. So I want to be able to help individuals understand how inflation impacts your income and why relying on a job alone, that regular 9 to 5 may not, I mean, for some people, many people, it may not be enough to build the financial stability and wealth that you're looking for. And so we're talking about not 9 to 5s being a bad thing, not that they're the, that you shouldn't have a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5, but there are things that you can do creatively so it's not the end all be all for you, so that when we look at your job versus inflation, the goalpost isn't moving and you're trying to kick with the same leg power from 5 years ago. And so let's go a little bit further. Inflation, as you all know, I tell you all, it's the silent money killer. Inflation is the silent force that reduces purchasing power over a period of time. We know that this happens over a period of time. It doesn't always happen overnight, but over time, the cost of living, the cost of goods and services will go high. If there's a shortage, supply and demand, we know that these things will go higher. These are some of the basic fundamentals that we deal with when we're talking about financial literacy. And they're important for us to deal with because these are things that are overlooked. And when they are overlooked in our culture, when they're overlooked in our environment, and we say, oh, this is the basics that I already know about, then what are you doing about it? How are we taking action? How are we educating others? What are we doing to prevent our 9 to 5 being defeated by inflation over a period of time? These are the foundational things that we need to discuss and have ingrained in us as the foundation of our financial literacy and education that we have. This conversation is vital on today because one, it needs to be shared with others. Two, it needs to be known so that we can take action and stop being in the same rat race over and over again, trying to figure out why and how come did you just get a raise, but you're still having less money every month. It's because of inflation and how it works. It's that silent force that reduces your purchasing power over a period of time. Many people believe working harder at their job will solve financial problems. Well, I want to let you all know today you can, and there's nothing wrong with trying to work harder, but working harder doesn't always solve the problems. Can I get an amen? Sometimes when you work harder, eventually your body is going to hit a stopping point. You can work and do as much overtime as you want, but if that company 2 months, 3 months later lays somebody off, or there's a furlough, or they go out of business, then working harder doesn't always fix the long-term problem, the long-term issue, which is your job, your 9 to 5 versus inflation. And so as we are getting started about and having this conversation on today, I want you all to understand the importance of why we're having this discussion about your 9 to 5 versus inflation. Point number one, what is inflation? Does anybody in the comment section know? I want to hear what you all feel. Like, what is inflation to you? when you think about the word inflation, what comes to your mind? Let's deal with that. Point number one, what is inflation? For me, inflation is the increase in prices over time, which means your money buys less, especially if your cash stays the same. It doesn't have the same spending power. And that's a lot of things that's being had and the conversations that are going on. We have this war going on. Inflation is going up. The cost of gas is going up. Logistics all over the place. The cost of goods and services connected with the logistics, the impact of that gas going up is going to have an effect on everyone. Now, here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we've been talking about this early on with the war getting started up until now. And so I don't want to beat a dead horse because I know my listeners understand certain concepts. So when we go a little bit further, when we talk about what is inflation and what it means to you, it basically means what cost $100 a few years ago may now cost $120. That same item, that same product. And so I want you all to look back at this. Even if your paycheck stays the same, your lifestyle becomes more expensive. Think about that. Even if you don't buy anything new, you've been buying the same consistent thing all year round, and the next year comes around and you say, I'm only going to get haircuts twice a month or once a month. I'm only going to buy my salmon. I'm only going to buy my soup. I'm only going to get my yard cut. I'm doing the same basic things. Here's a key truth that you need to know to hold near and dear to you, that even if your paycheck stays the same, your action, you're buying what you buy, what you purchase, the same brands, you go to the same dollar store, even if it stays the same, your lifestyle is still going to become more expensive. Do I have anybody that can give an example or a witness and say, you know what? That is so true. My barber increased. The person who cut my lawn had to go up because of gas prices. They got to go from one place to another and use the same gas to cut your yard. Whatever it is, no matter if you stay the same, your lifestyle becomes more expensive. Not because you got more flashy, not because you said, oh, I want better things or better items. It's just naturally going to happen because of inflation. Point number two, I want you all to understand that the limitation of your jobs. That's what we'll deal with. The limitations of a job. As y'all are tuning in here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we are talking about your 9 to 5 versus inflation, the impact, and why you need to know the battle, that war that is going on from your regular job and inflation, why it's happening and what you can do to prevent it. And that's where we're going to go. We're going to get to steps to help you prevent it. Yes, 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 Tanya, Duncan, Leonard, you are 100% correct. That is an excellent example. The housing market. Should we talk about that? Do y'all know? Oh my, listen, I must confess. Okay, I will tell you all. There are many people that get upset and frustrated about the housing market because the cost of a house keeps going up. It keeps going up. It costs more to buy a house now than ever before. The interest rates are high. Now, have interest rates been higher before in the past in America? Yes, but the interest rates are still high right now. So you're going to pay like for a house 2.5 times, give or take. So depending on, if you got a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage, or whether you use the HELOC strategy, which I teach, I coach, and show people how to do. And of course, then you can pay a 30-year mortgage off in probably about 5 to 7 years. I've had some clients that knocked it out in 1 year, 3 years, 2 years, but that's extreme. Average client usually knocks it out in about 5 to 7 years. It frees up cash flow. They can invest like crazy. Their retirement funds go a little bit further because they don't have the overhead. All they have to worry about at that point is property tax and insurance. And that's if you even have to pay property taxes. But so when we go a little bit further, Tanya says, our parents' price is not our price. Our kids will pay more because of inflation. Our 9 to 5 versus inflation, and understanding what is going on and how your inflation is really outpacing the average person's 9 to 5. Most people may get a raise for 2 to 3% annually, but guess what? Inflation is outpacing that raise from your job. That's why you have more month than money. So we're going to deal with some of the things that we can do to get us out of that rat race. We're going to talk about some of the things on today that we can do to help right that situation. Good morning, Kashana Johnson. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. As y'all are tuning in, if you're able to, make sure you share the live so we can get more people in on this awesome conversation on today. Do you know that your job has limitations? There's only so much that you can do on your job, and there's only so much that your job can do for you because it is earned income. It is money that you have to earn. You have to go work. You have to go bust a sweat. There are some things that you have to do. You may have to clock in. It may cost for some manual labor, or it may cost for a lot of mental stress, but your 9 to 5 is earned income. A job provides what we call active income. You are actively engaged or involved, you're present, and you are trading time for money. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate that, Kashana Johnson, for sharing it. As y'all are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, active income, your 9 to 5, you are trading your current time right now for money. And so when you're doing that, you only have so much time, which means you can only get so much what? You can only get so much money because they can't have you on the clock 24/7. Now, I would have an argument there. Like if you're in the military and you're deployed, technically you're on the clock 24/7. But even then, you still don't get paid that 24/7 time frame. They might give you a little extra money because you had to leave your family, but it still doesn't compare. Now, let's go a little bit further, ladies and gentlemen. We understand that we're trading time for money, and you can only do that for so long. You can only work for so long before your body says, I need to rest. So there's a limitation, there's a cap, there are boundaries when it comes to that active income. Most jobs offer fixed salaries or slow raises. Anybody ever had to experience a slow raise? They're not quick raises, they're slow raises. And so you really have limited control over income growth. Your hands are tied when it comes to being able to get the growth that you're looking for. Also, most importantly, is your hands are tied when it comes to getting the growth to help outpace inflation. Now, in America, I know we say our income grows at 2 to 3% annually, but inflation is growing much quicker than that. Now, you're actually losing ground. When you talk to certain people, they try to make it look cute, they try to make it look pretty, and they say inflation grows like 3% annually, but it's much higher than that. And all you got to do is go to the grocery store and compare your grocery bill last year versus this year and the things that you're buying. And you're going to see more than a 3% increase. You may go to the barber, or check this out. Anybody paying rent? If you're paying rent, that's why they try to get fancy with what they say is growing at 3% versus other things. If you're paying rent, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, if you're paying rent, how many people understand that rent went up by more than 3%? It's no question about it. Some people's rent after the pandemic, it doubled. Since the pandemic, it has doubled. But anyway, let's go a little bit further in here. Your job has limitations. Your income grows at 2 to 3%. Inflation may grow at 4 to 6%. So you're actually losing ground. So let's get to point number 3. You have to understand the battle, ladies and gentlemen. There is a true battle going on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And so you have to understand that the battle is your income versus inflation. In that comment section, y'all just type in there, it's a battle. There's a battle. There is a battle. Point number 3, there is a battle. And we have to be cognizant of that because, good morning to you, Mickey David. If you're in a battle and you don't know it, then you're going to lose. If you're in a battle and you're getting beat over the head, you're in a fight and you don't know you're in a fight, then you're definitely going to lose that battle because you're going to get caught off guard. You don't even see the punches that are coming at your financial pockets on today. And so with this battle, thank you there, Sister Thomas, tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Inflation is always moving upward over a period of time, and eventually the job will stop paying. You have to understand there's going to come a point in time, and thank you all for sharing and liking the live on TikTok. Appreciate y'all typing in there. I wish I could see who that is, but I can't see it right now. But as y'all are tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training, there's a battle going on. Inflation's always moving up, and the job is going to stop paying you. And what are you going to do when the job stops paying you? Sometimes the job will lay you off. Sometimes it's a furlough. Sometimes it's time to retire, not because you want to, but because you have to. Maybe mentally you can't keep going. Maybe physically you can't keep going. There's only so much when it comes to the active income. There's barriers, there's limitations. And so when it has to stop, and even if you get a retirement, usually the retirement is almost like half of what you used to get paid. So if you have the same lifestyle, the same spending habits, how are you now going to have that same lifestyle with half the income? Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I teach the HELOC strategy to help you eliminate your mortgage balance and your mortgage debt and all consumer debt. Because if you free up cash flow, when you do have a shortage of income, it's easier to maintain your lifestyle. You don't have to worry about so much overhead and losing these beautiful things that you worked so hard for in your life because they're paid off and you're debt free. Now, let's go a little bit further. If your income stays flat, your buying power goes down because inflation goes up and your financial stress will go up. Now, inflation, it's like an escalator going up. Your job is like walking upstairs. Y'all see what I'm saying? Inflation moves like an escalator, far as how money moves and the cost of things. But your job and how you get a raise, it's like walking up steps. And anytime you're on the escalator can beat the steps. You know why? Because even somebody said, well, what if I run up the steps? Okay, run. That escalator is just going to keep moving. The escalator is just going to keep moving. Eventually, you're going to get tired. Eventually you're going to hit a point. I see those women when they're in the gym and they're on that step thing. I'll never get up there because it looks like it'll wear you out. And they're doing all of those steps. Eventually you got to quit stepping. Eventually you get tired. Eventually you hit a breaking point because there's only so many steps you're going to be able to keep going up. So if you stop moving, you go backwards. So let's go a little bit further. Let's get to point number one because I want to get to some solutions. Point number 4, the solution: increase your financial capacity. As y'all are tuning in, and I have a lot of intelligent people that are tuning in on today, what does it mean to increase your financial capacity? What does that mean to you all? To increase your financial capacity. So you got to increase your financial capacity to be able to beat inflation. And you have to be able to learn how to grow beyond what you earn in that active income. And this is where it gets good for all of us. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about what our church did this past Sunday after service. That's another way of increasing your financial capacity, and it's another way of being creative to make more than what you normally make in your 9 to 5. So let's go a little bit further. I told you all we need income or assets that will keep paying more. But how? How do we do that? How do we increase this financial capacity? How do we beat inflation? And how do we grow beyond what we earn in a regular 9 to 5? Because our 9 to 5 is in this crazy battle with inflation. And inflation is beating our 9 to 5. And if inflation is winning the battle, if inflation is winning the fight against our 9 to 5, then why would you stay with a game plan that consistently causes you to lose? I want you all to think about this on today because I don't think anybody on here tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training is a loser. I believe we are all winners. Any winners here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, in that comment section, just type, I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I am a winner. You can do I''M space winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. Here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, we are winners. I see you on TikTok. I'm a winner. We are winners. I am not going to continue on a strategy and a plan that causes me to lose every day, that causes me to lose every month, that causes me to lose every year. I refuse to stick with a strategy that causes me to lose. I see you, Shirley Frazier. I'm a winner, Sister Thomas. I'm a winner, Tanya. I see you. I'm a winner. Kashana Johnson. I'm a winner. Kashana's all over the place. She's on TikTok. She's back on Facebook. I appreciate the support. Ooh, Tim says, I'm a winner. 10x. That's what I'm talking about. I'm multiplied with this thing. Ooh, I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a winner. Thank you, Yvette Steele. You better be a winner. So when we look at this, we got to increase our financial capacity. I wish I had time to talk about what happened with the church, but long story short, all the business owners, entrepreneurs at our church had an opportunity to set up a booth after service. Listen to what I say. After service, when our unity service was over, and they set up and showed their products, their goods, their services that they provide. And we had hundreds of people that came over to look at what businesses were in our own marketplace. Ooh, because we're trying to increase our financial capacity in the ministry, how we can support one another, and also what we can do far as a community as well. Vicky Anthony says, I refuse to stick with the strategy that causes me to lose. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not a loser, so I'm not going to have a losing strategy. And so if inflation is outpacing my 9 to 5, even if you're doing good right now and everything is fine, eventually it comes to a point where inflation is outpacing a regular 9 to 5. Now, some people who are in sales that get commissions and things like that with their 9 to 5, it can kind of help balance some things out. But I'm talking about the average person that has an average salary. There's not a lot of extra bonuses and commissions and things like that that happen. It makes it very, very difficult, Nadine. It makes it very, very difficult to be able to have success in this financial space. And my goal here on Coach Steele's Finance Training is to teach the people that listen to me talk about finances how to be able to move so smoothly in this financial space. It feels like you're moonwalking. It's not as difficult. It's not as stressful from one month to the next to be able to have success in this space. And so when we talk about strategies and plans, you need to know how to beat inflation. So you must grow beyond just your earned income. We got to increase income streams. And how do we increase income streams? I don't even think I talked about the church. My bad. I got sidetracked, y'all. I got a little too hyped up and motivated. So anyway, the church, all those businesses set up their businesses. Hundreds of people came in. They saw the products, they saw the goods, they saw the services that we provide, and people began to spend money. People began to buy things because the same thing they can get from Walmart, the same thing they can get online from Amazon, they got it from their fellow brothers and sisters, Rosa. They got it from one another. We began to support each other. We began to buy things from one another and circulate the dollar in-house, because when that dollar goes to Walmart, it goes to whoever, and it never comes back our way. But guess what? Because I circulated that dollar and we create our own marketplace, we create our own economy, we create our own Wall Street here at Mount Zion. And I wish I'm going to go deeper on this thing one day. One day I'm going to talk about the Wall Street, Black Wall Street and things like that, and the significance of it and how it happened. And if you do more research and you go deeper into that Wall Street and that economy that they created back then in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you find out that the root of a lot of it was because of what was happening in the churches in that place. And the churches were supporting it and the churches were pushing it. So therefore, we saw what was happening in the churches show up in the community. But anyway, let's go further. The Business Expo was great. As Vicky Anthony says, we want to increase our income streams, whether it be side hustles, whether it be business incomes like we did at the church. People made money, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to what I'm saying. We used our own economy. We made money buying from one another. So now that we made money and our businesses are doing well, I can spend more. So now check this out. If Walmart makes money off of you, Walmart never comes back and buys something from you. But if I made money, within my own people, now I can go and spend money with some other people in our economy. So the dollar keeps circulating within us. Once the moment we spend it somewhere else, it's gone for good. And so now our net worth and value decreases. But if we keep the dollar circulating among us, then the value continues to increase. It's easy to expand. It's easy to grow business. It's easier to hire other people. It's easier to increase the technology and the things with your business and improvements. So anyway, let's go a little bit further. We want to have business income, and we want to also improve the skills that increase our earning power. And so it's okay to go back to school to learn certain skills or to get certain certifications to put pressure on the marketplace to have to pay you more. And so that those are creative ways that we can beat inflation. And also, you have to understand that there are times, and Sister Leonard said it earlier. She said to invest. And how do we invest? You have to invest in places that help you hedge against inflation. You can invest in stocks. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in retirement accounts. There's so many different ways to invest. Here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, you've heard us talk about Landry. You've heard us talk about investing in retirement accounts and not even limiting yourself there. Also, a couple weeks ago, it's probably been a month now, I told you all about the stock uh, Exxon Mobil Corp and how it gives you dividends quarterly, and how I invested in Exxon. And I knew that Exxon would go up in value based on what was happening with the war over with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. So anyway, let's go a little bit further. We looked at the stocks and all of that in the charts. And of course, you go back and you look and you see how it jumped up in price, in value per share. Now, stocks, real estate, you all know here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, I love investing in real estate. So something that Sister Leonard said earlier, Tanya Leonard said, was the marketplace and the effect of inflation with real estate. If you are a real estate investor and you've had real estate over the past 10 plus years or whatever the case may be, especially if you've had real estate over since 2019, you really aren't that sad about what's happening with inflation. Do I have any witnesses? Are there any real estate investors on the live right now that ever since the pandemic, your real estate has gone up in value exponentially? Like your net worth has gone up in value exponentially. I'm getting to a point here. Where are my real estate investors at? Can I get a witness? Can somebody testify? Can you raise your hand? Can you put the up arrow? Can you put the money sign? What has happened to my real estate investors? And I want you all to understand the difference in mindset depending on what asset class you invest in to hedge against inflation. When inflation hits, there are times where certain people aren't frustrated about it at all. And in fact, instead of being frustrated, they are actually celebrating. Some of us may be frustrated when inflation hits. Some of us may celebrate when inflation hits. And of course, it's no knock on anyone. Don't want to make anyone feel bad or anything like that. But I want you all to understand the difference in mindset. When you begin to switch your mindset and change how you think, you will learn how to capitalize and take advantage of certain things. And so I want you all to understand that we have to invest properly, because money sitting loses value. And I tell everyone this all the time. Some of the basic things I do with everyone, I tell you, is go get a high yield interest savings account. That way, at least your money's not just sitting in a regular checking account or savings account, not making any interest. If your money's sitting in a regular savings account or checking account making less than 1% interest, then you need to get with Coach Steele's Finance Training. Shoot me a message. You all see my email down there, coachsteelefinance@gmail.com. When you look at coachsteelefinance@gmail.com, you can shoot me an email, Coach Steele Finance, right there. Shoot me an email, and I will send you a link to a high yield interest savings account, and you can get the party started making more interest on your money. Do not be loyal to a bank. Be loyal to your money. I'm not saying close your savings account, close your checking account. I'm talking about take some of that money, transfer it somewhere where it can make more interest so your money can make compound interest, grow in value, because you work too hard. I'm sitting here talking about your 9 to 5, your job versus inflation and how it's not keeping up. But if you sit that money in a high yield interest savings account, you help hedge against inflation, and you'll start making passive income with compound interest without you having to do anything. It's one of the easiest examples and one of the easiest ways that I teach people to start making passive income. You get the concept of it, you get the feel of it, you get the benefit of it. You begin to love making money without having to do as much. Is it a lot of money? No, but it doesn't matter. It's the concept, it's the principle of putting it to practice. And if you can do it on a small scale, then when it is time to turn up and do it at a large scale and move money to make interest or passive income at a higher level, then you are putting your hands to the plow. You begin to practice doing it. So make sure you all hit me up, and I'll send you that link. That way you can make some passive income in that high yield interest savings account. Vicky Anthony says HYSA, got it. That's what I'm talking about. Timothy Scott says, amen. Property value going up, up, up. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. And so we got to hedge against inflation with specific assets that pay. Now, there's nothing wrong with hedging against inflation against assets that may not pay you now, but will pay you later. Regardless, whether it's now or later, like the candy, I want to make sure that you get paid beyond what inflation is going to do to you. When inflation keeps subtracting, I need your investing to be adding, because that's what's going on. And when you invest in the right asset, check this out. When inflation comes to punch, when inflation comes to fight, you now have inflation on your side. Once you invest in assets that help you hedge against inflation, assets that complement what's going on, the assets that keep up with inflation, I don't like for people to have to pay more rent, but guess what? When I am invested in real estate, every time inflation goes up, my rental properties go up as well. Good morning, Pastor Conyers. Happy to have you tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. We were just talking about the church and the business expo just a second ago. So I want you all to learn how to hedge against inflation. And so when inflation happens, rent increases. Inflation happens, rent increases. Meanwhile, the tenant is paying down the balance on my properties. So now I am getting rent increases, balance to go down. Rent increases, balance goes down. Rent increases, balance goes down. Guess what is there? Equity is there. I have access to equity in those bricks that I can turn into cash and go buy more assets if I choose to, or just let the tenant pay the property off completely. And now the rent is higher. So if a tenant is paying off a property in, 15, 20 years, whatever the time frame is, however long it takes, then if rent is at $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, then now I'm making $2,000, $1,500 a month in a few years, and I didn't have to put any money for 30 years inside of a 401k plan. So what I'm talking about, when we're talking about a 9 to 5 versus inflation, there are other things you can invest in, whether it's you can do Roth IRA, TSP, 401, 403Bs, 457s, you name it. Invest in those, but also invest in other asset classes that will actually get you what you're looking for quicker. So now you got the best of both worlds. So when you have that money coming in, you also got a tax shelter in the real estate. So now you have to give less to Uncle Sam. I'm talking about hedging against inflation and putting more money back into your pockets. And what I'm really saying is point number 5 on today, guys, develop a wealth mindset. In that comment section, just write develop a wealth mindset. I don't know if you got the brain emoji in there, wealth mindset. Put that brain, wealth mindset in there. I need you all to develop a wealth mindset. That's what my mindset is. Point number 5, you have to develop a wealth mindset in this season. Stop thinking only like an employee and start thinking like an owner and investor. And when you're an owner and investor, you think about certain things. All of those owners and investors and entrepreneurs that were at Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church on 1370 Shaw Road last Sunday, they were thinking like owners and investors. Many of the people that had booth setups, many of those people that set up their businesses and their tables on Sunday, they have regular 9 to 5 jobs. But even though they have a regular 9 to 5 job, they still think with a wealth mindset. They still have an ownership mindset, an investor mindset. And so you have to know how to multitask and be, if you have to be that 9 to 5 person, but also understand when you step outside of. When you step outside of that 9 to 5 uniform, right? You put on your wealth mindset cape, you put on your wealth mindset attire, you put on your ownership, your investor, your entrepreneurship cape, and you go to work for yourself because you want to find other creative ways to make money outside of the 9 to 5 limitations. Because 9 to 5 is not beating the inflation, this battle that we have going on. How do my owners and my investors think? I want y'all to write in that comment section. What do owners and investors think about? I see Sheila Thomas, develop a wealth mindset. Sister Anthony, yes, investing in other avenues. I like that. See, I like that word, avenues. I like the word avenues because even in the Bible, the word tells us to have 7, no, 8 streams of income. And so if we can have 7 to 8 streams of income, we have different avenues of income, of money coming in. I remember when I first read the Bible, I said I need to at least have 4. Why? Because in Genesis, the Garden of Eden, there were 4 streams in the garden. And so my mindset started with 4, and then I got to the book of Ecclesiastes, and I saw I needed to have 7. So anyway, you all need to challenge yourself on today. How can I get to 7 streams? I know it seems like a lot, and you don't get there overnight. You have to work your way. It may be different ways. You may have your 9 to 5. You may be investing in dividend stocks like I do. That portfolio alone may have multiple dividend stocks in that. So in one asset class, my dividend stock portfolio, there may be more than 7 dividend companies that I invest in. There may be 7 different streams in that one portfolio. So you start diversifying, you start multiplying, you start thinking creatively. I have real estate investment and I have multiple properties. So in my real estate portfolio, there are multiple doors. So you might have asset classes, 7 in this one, 7 in that one. And so you don't even have to stop at 7 streams. You can be very, very creative on how you decide to be fruitful and multiply. I want to hear from my investors, my business owners. When we talk about having a wealth mindset, what are some of the things that you focus on when it comes to your business? And so as y'all are answering that question, some of your answers should be growth. That's one thing. A business owner should be focused on growth. What are some of those other things that my business owners need to be focused on? I just said one of the words. You need to be focused on multiplication. Business owners need to be focused on multiplication. Some of the things you need to be focused on is your short-term strategy. And what's the other one? You need to have a short-term and immediate strategy, and you need to have I'll let y'all fill in the blank there. And so these are some of the things that we need to be thinking about when you have a wealth mindset. We don't just think as employees, but we start thinking like owners and entrepreneurs. Yes, Kashana Johnson, develop a wealth mindset. And so when we think about some principles, you must understand this. The wealthy don't rely on one income source. Long term, the wealthy don't rely on one income source. They never will. They refuse to because they know it can be cut off. Anything can happen, and you never know what may happen. There are some people that they had a business during the pandemic, but when people couldn't go out, when people couldn't travel, when things happened, they had to shut business down and they couldn't make any money. And that was their only source. And from that, these people have learned, I got to have more than one option. I got to have some other things going on in my life to help me bring in money. The wealthy don't rely on one income. They build systems that outpace inflation. I like that right there. They build systems that outpace inflation. What system have you built? What financial system, strategy, and plan are you building or is in the works to help you outpace inflation besides your regular 9 to 5? Because the average 9 to 5 just ain't getting it done. The average 9 to 5 is not doing it enough. I'm here to motivate somebody on today. You need to get busy. You need to get active. You need to put your mind to work. You need to get those wheels turning. There are plenty of times Here on Coach Steele's Finance Trainer, y'all, I sit with a pen and a pad in my office space and I start thinking, I start strategizing, I start checking this account, I start checking that account. I start thinking about what do I need to move? What chance can I take? What calculated risk can I take that is going to be advantageous for me to continue to have financial success? How many people are sitting down and taking the time out, counting the cost to see what moves you can make to help push and propel you? If you have a business, you ought to be investing in yourself. If you want to invest in yourself, how do you expect other people to invest in you? If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect other people to believe in you? If you don't take time out to get your own business affairs in order as an investor, as a business owner, how do you expect people to take time out to come see about you and what you have going on? I'm going to get off that soapbox right there. But I want you all to feel what I'm saying on today. We have to take action. Tanya Leonard says, how to make profit and save time. That's exactly it. We're talking about how to make profit on today and how to save time so we don't have to necessarily be on the clock. One thing I like about Tanya Leonard's business is I believe you can go online and buy her products. So if you can go online and buy her products, then guess what? She doesn't have to physically be there to make money. And so when you develop a business and you have a short-term, long-term goal, you start investing in your business, you start investing in the products, you start investing in creative ways that people can swipe their cards and pay money where you don't have to physically be there, you are winning. One of the beautiful things I like about real estate is, one, I don't go collect rent anymore. There was a time where I used to go and collect the rent or have people pay or whatever the case may be. I don't do that anymore. They turn the money into property management. Property management puts it in my account. I wake up and I check my account and it's there. It's that simple. And so there's certain risks that come with it. Someone probably saying, well, do they pay rent every month? No, sometimes there may be somebody that doesn't pay rent. I got multiple doors and a lot of my properties are paid off. So guess what? I've hedged against inflation, but I've also hedged against risk. And so I don't want tenants to decide not to pay rent. I need them to pay rent because I'm here to make a profit. But the rent from other tenants will cover down on what any overhead is left because I've used wisdom in acquiring properties. And let's see what Vicki Anthony says. She says, I do have the high yield interest savings account. I'm investing in my life insurance policy. That's another stream right there, depending on what type of policy you have. And then I have a TSP retirement account. My next goal is to learn day trading and other long-term investments, real estate being one. That's what I'm talking about. And so Tanya says, yes, people can go buy her products online. And all my business owners, if y'all want to put your websites in there or your links and all that other good stuff, feel free to throw it in the chat sections for people to check you out or whatever they need to do to be able to find you. So make sure, feel free to do that as well here on Coach Steele's Finance Trainer while we're talking about circulating the dollar among us. So let me get here towards the end. And so you have to understand wealthy people don't rely on one income source. I want y'all to understand something. I'm telling you what wealthy people do. I don't rely on one source of income. So I consider myself to be wealthy. I consider myself to be blessed. And so if you're not relying on one source of income, then you are in the process of becoming wealthy, or you yourself are wealthy as well because you're doing wealthy principles and practices. And when you practice and do principles of the thing that you are trying to become, you are that. So let's go a little bit further. My last point on today. Point number 6, budgeting still matters even when increasing income. You must still control your spending. You must eliminate waste and prioritize your saving and investing. It goes down to the basics. Budgeting is usually like that backbone of finances and getting your finances in order. A lot of people come to me here on Coach Steele's Finance Training for coaching and for guidance for that. And so I'm like a great accountability partner, and I help give people direction. It's like, in the air, you got the air traffic controller that helps planes get from one place to another safely, and they help direct traffic so that there's no crashes, right? And so I'm like that financial traffic controller where when your money's moving, whether it's digital, whether it's physical, whatever the case may be. I'm that fun money traffic controller where people come to for guidance and for help with that. So as y'all are listening to Coach Steele's finance training, also want you all to know before I got a few more things that I want to discuss with you all. I want you all to remember here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, as much as I talk about making money, I also give a lot away. I actually sow a lot of beautiful seeds over into the country of Cameroon, Africa. And so many of you don't even realize that you can have a great impact with helping those that don't have clothes, helping those that can't afford uh, medical services, that may not have food. And of course, we're also building churches in Cameroon as well. Yes, we're building churches in Cameroon for people to have places to worship. And so if you want to support that, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, and it's for 99 cents a month. Every month, for 99 cents, you can support the mission work that's happening in Cameroon, Africa. I'm supposed to go again this year. I'm excited about that trip. I'll be doing a lot of leadership training with the pastors and assistant pastors and evangelists on the ground there. And so I want you all to understand, to support Coach Steele's finance training and what I do, whatever you give, that 99 cents a month doesn't go to me. It goes straight over to Cameroon to help those in need there. So you can go to my YouTube, you can go to my Facebook page and subscribe. Don't just follow, but click the subscribe link and allow you to give 99 cents a month to help those in Cameroon, Africa. And usually about once or twice a week, I'll post videos or pictures of some stuff that's going on in Africa as well. And so I do have a son over there that I adopted as well. So I take care of him. He just had a birthday April 2nd, but this weekend, Saturday, today, we're doing the birthday party, and they're getting the food ready and all of that. I may post a picture about some of those results and things like that. Okay, so let's go a little bit further here. Appreciate everybody that goes to my Facebook page when the live is over. Facebook page is Simon Steele. Hopefully you don't click on my son's, but click on mine. We have the same name, but my name is Simon Steele. And find the subscribe link, subscribe, 99 cents a month. I'm sure you all can afford 99 cents a month to help those that are in need. So budgeting still matters. Even while increasing income, you must control your spending, eliminate waste, and prioritize saving and investing. Discipline ensures your increased income actually leads to progress. Discipline ensures when you start making that extra money, when your business is booming, when you start thinking with a wealth mindset and you're making way more money outside of that 9 to 5 that had limitations, and all that cash is coming in, the discipline is what is going to take you over the top. The discipline is what is going to help you continue to outpace and beat inflation with your money. Discipline is going to allow you to continue to hedge against inflation and start that next stream of income, because you've learned how to live off of what you already have. So when the extra comes, you'll learn what adjustments to make. I will let him know that you said happy birthday. I should call him right now, but I'm on TikTok live on my phone right now. I should my TikTok people might be upset if I cut the live short, but maybe next time here on Coach Steele's Finance Training, I will use my phone and I'll call my son in Cameroon, and you'll all be able to see him and he'll interact with us. That'll be pretty cool. So I have to remember to do that. I'm going to do a Cameroon edition. Now, last time I was in Cameroon last year, actually on a Saturday, I still did Coach Steele's Finance Training. I went live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, although they are 5 hours ahead. So over there it was 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. It was 2 p.m. I was going live there, but to you all, it was still 9. All right, let's go a little bit further. Question for you all. Has your income kept up with rising expenses? Yes or no? As we get ready to close, we're about to close this out in about 3 minutes. Has your income kept up with rising expenses? That's my one question for you all. And you also know here on Coach Steele's Finance Training on my website, Steele's Finance Academy. My website, you can go to my website, and if you can't find it, just feel free to hit me up. It's probably in the description where you can click the link and go to my website. But just know you can also go buy a shirt as well. Let's see if I can post that real quick. Boom. Of course, it's the Make Money Multitask shirt. So feel free, go to the website, buy a shirt. I appreciate anybody that supports. Once again, as I mentioned, any extra funds that are given in support will go to help the mission work in Cameroon. So, once again, my question to you all is: has your income kept up with rising expenses? That's something I want you all to think about. Number two, what areas have become more expensive in your life recently? Ooh, I know the answer to that for a lot of people. What areas have become more expensive in your life recently? And number three, what is one new income stream you can start? Those are the three things that I want you all to think about. What is one new income stream that you can start? And some of you may already have started on one and are working on it. That second question was, what areas have become more expensive in your life recently? Some of you are going to probably say gas, unless you're walking everywhere. And have you all noticed, has the gas prices and the logistics of everything, has it affected you all in the grocery store yet? And then I got 3 minutes left. And has your income kept up with rising expenses? That was the first question I had. And I want to make an announcement on today. I want y'all to hear me loud and clear. I believe and I'm confident that prices and things are about to shoot up even more. It's probably going to get a little nastier. And so, with that being said, I want you all to be very wise with your money. I want you all to be very strategic with your money. I want you all to sit down with your families and make sure you go over your budgets, because even though it can get nastier, even though it can get rougher, even though the cost of goods and services are going to get higher, I want you all to find what bills and expenses you can eliminate. And if you can find the bills and expenses that you need to eliminate, then even though the cost of things will go up, it won't have that same effect on you. It won't hit you as hard because you've already been proactive and taking action to improve your situation. So I know you all can have great success in this season. There's no doubt in my mind. And I am extremely proactive with analyzing everything. As much as I give to my local church, but I give just as much and sometimes more to the ministry that I support in Cameroon. And so, as much as I give, I have to be strategic of what's going on with my finances. But I still have to take care of home. There has to be balance in everything that we do. And so sometimes those coupons, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say coupons. The message distracted me. Sometimes sitting down and having a budget can be difficult and having those conversations, but you got to find a way to peacefully have those conversations so that we can all be on the same page. Tanya Duncan Leonard says coupons, buy in bulk now. That's exactly it. Vicky says, I've been cutting back on credit card spending. Awesome job. Cut back and also pay off those cards. But of course, you already know, don't close the accounts because it'll affect your credit. Just pay off the cards. Y'all don't close the accounts. Tanya says, groceries, electric bill, gas. Those are places where she's seeing the inflation. That's exactly it. And you all know last summer we saw a huge spike in cost in the electric bill. But once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in to Coach Steele's Finance Training. Y'all did an awesome job on the day. You should give yourselves a hand clap in the comment section. Give yourself a pat on the back, whatever it is. You did an awesome job on today. I'm proud of you all. We had an important conversation about finances on today, a conversation that will motivate some, a conversation that educated others. Regardless, you all did an awesome job. I see you, Jarrell Smith, gas, property taxes annually. Now, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Property taxes have gone up, and so inflation has hit those as well, what Sister Leonard mentioned about the marketplace. But you all did an awesome job on today. I mean, just phenomenal. Good education, good information. Somebody else usually people go back and watch the video and they see your comments. So some of your comments is going to help and motivate some other people as well. But once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. It's Coach Steele's Finance Training, another session down. Make sure y'all go to the YouTube channel if you haven't already and subscribe. I know you all listen on Facebook, but go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. We want to grow the YouTube channel and keep it going, grow this community out to be able to do great things. I see a lot of good things happening in the future, being able to support other businesses, interview other businesses and entrepreneurs about what they have going on. I was going to interview one of our listeners on today. His name's Dante, Triple D. He has the lawn care service, but he's out cutting grass today. So we didn't do the interview. We'll get him rescheduled and back on the calendar. You all can hear about how he started his lawn care business and how things are going to now. I believe he has an awesome, powerful testimony and a story that we all need to hear. But once again, Coach Steele's Finance Training, we are out.